Hey, listeners, welcome to Mixtapes and Mopeds with Red Wheels Panda. Of course, it's the fastest growing podcast on the internet. Thank you for all those listeners for the loyal following, giving us that feedback. Can't say enough about all the positive feedback. By the way, I had a little some feedback, Panda. I don't know
Hmm.
if you're getting any groupies, but I'm getting a groupies. We got
Groupies? Wait
got
a minute.
kind
We
of a
have
following here.
what?
Kind of feeling like a little bit, a little bit of a rock band. And
What the heck?
somebody sent a post over with a T-shirt on it. It said the Red Wheels Women, and I went, well, don't leave out the panda. Come on, we can't leave out
Wow.
the panda with our logo. And there was a little note that was with the post that said, "Hey, she saw Keith Richards and saw our podcast, and honey, one of you still have it." Well,
Oh,
I'm not sure if that was a
oh,
compliment or not,
wait a minute.
but by the way, I'm very flattered. I think,
Wait a
but
minute.
please, no matter who you are, we love those that flattered post comments. I have a feeling this might have been a little older lady, but wow, that way to go.
Oh. So I guess you have a groupie, or I don't have a groupie, but I
Well,
think
it
that's
was the
unclear to
logo.
me. Okay. It's unclear to me if it's. I think Keith Richards still has it, so maybe she's just a big Rolling Stones fan. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it was. I think we were talking about the Rolling Stones in one of these podcasts, and it got me confused or something. Certainly I'm not a rocker.
That's hysterical. Oh, my first
So what
groupie.
say you, Panda?
Oh man, just still in recovery mode. So our youngest son Jack turned 21 last week. So we decided
How
initially.
about that? How about that, listeners? Do you remember when you turned 21? Do you
Oh
remember that date?
wow, I think we probably most of us do.
I'm glad there was no cell phones and no cameras because I might
Oh,
have been in a parking lot with my birthday suit on running around.
okay.
Sorry, Mom, you didn't hear that.
Oh lordy, yeah. So we we had decided since Jack was the last one to turn 21, we were going to go to Vegas, and then we decided Nashville is right between Atlanta and Cincinnati. So we got down there last Thursday, and it was me and the three boys, and whoo, wow, I am not able to kind of imbibe the way I used to, but I did my best. I actually hung out pretty well that whole trip. Thursday night we went pretty hard at it since that was kind of his intro for his first legal beverages.
Stress the word legal.
Legal, yes. He can throw away the fake IDs now, so he's got the real ID. But man, what a town to go just be crazy, Nashville. It is, when I was in school there, a long time ago, 40 years ago, downtown was pretty dead. And now you go there and it is like Mardi Gras on a Thursday night. And on Saturday, it's just, they shut the streets down. They've got
It's insane. I mean,
it's
yeah,
great. You were just there, so every country music star has a bar, and not just a little bar, but there are four-story bars, and every floor is just packed with people, and the street is packed with people. It's like, what is going on? What are we celebrating? And it's just another weekend in Nashville. So,
you
uh,
literally can go to one bar and that call it a night
yeah,
because there's so much good entertainment.
yeah, and the hotel we stayed at the Indigo Hotel, and the like on Thursday night, it was somebody from The Voice who had been on The Voice was just in the lobby singing, and then the next night it was like Grammy nominated person, and it's just because it's Nashville and these people they live there and they just make a little money, they go out and play it wherever, and so you're getting the benefit of all of this great music. So yeah, we went into one of those four-decker bars, which was right next to John Bon Jovi's bar. We just kind of hung out at a table that first night and just drank, listened to the band. They were playing 80s rock music on that floor, so that was good. And yeah, and then we ended up went to see a Vandy baseball game where they won on the walk-off home run, which was kind of cool. And then We saw Billy Idol and Joan Jett on
Oh,
Saturday.
I didn't realize Billy Idol too. I just saw the
Yeah,
Joan Jett clip.
yeah,
Oh
Billy
yeah. So
Idol.
did you get
Yeah.
up and do the hey Moni Moni?
Oh heck yeah. Oh yeah. And if you I actually think I already posted that to our Facebook account. So anybody listening wants to actually see that song, it's out there. And Joan was great too. Just just ageless.
Send you right back to the 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
right, both those two bands, right back to
Yeah.
the 80s.
I'll tell you, were you ever at a party in college or anywhere in your and when we were in the 80s and Moni Moni wasn't played at some point? At
Every time,
least
yeah, right.
every
Yeah,
time. Not just
that
summertime,
was like
every time.
every time. That was that between that one and the one from Animal House. The
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody, you gotta
Yeah.
shout.
Oh yeah. Those
Yeah.
two were so yeah, just a great weekend and I pretty much stayed up with them but even by the end of Saturday night they were dead because we'd gone pretty hard that whole time. So that was fun to kind of celebrate that. We hadn't done just a boys only thing. So that was pretty cool. So that was yeah, and it's what Tuesday now and I'm just kind of getting over it.
Yeah. I'm still so yeah, similar to the Nashvegas story there, and it is seriously, yeah, that's a good one to call it Mardi Gras 20, and it's insane. And I've been there on Tuesdays, and it's still crazy. Not as bad as Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but just insane. Been there for bull game. Been there. I mean,
Oh,
it's crazy. And the amount of people and the amount of bachelorette
the
parties. I don't know if
bachelorette
you
parties. Oh my God. There must have been hundreds and hundreds of those just going around with their, weird stuff on,
that
genitals
and
hanging off their head.
the little beer car where they're pedaling down the
Oh,
street in the middle of that thing. I mean, there
crazy.
must be a dozen of those things
Oh yeah.
running around with them sipping on the beer. On yes,
Yep. Yep.
I don't understand. It's not. I never saw a lot of well, heck, you probably wouldn't pick out a bachelor because no idiot would be dressed up.
uh, oh, hey, one other story. So the first night we went to Old Red, which is Blake Shelton's
Oh yeah,
bar,
I like
and
that one.
then
I
yeah,
like
that's
it.
a good
Yeah.
one. And we walked up to the top floor, so we walk in, and it's these two ladies. They're singing like singer songwriters. They're up on the stage and they're singing. Just finished up a song, and we walk in, and I'm kind of walking in front of them, and they say, "Hey, we're so and so from Columbus, Ohio," and I'm like, "Hey," I did the OH, and they're like, "Hey, IO." Back to me over the mic, and then there's like, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm like, "From Lancaster." She goes, "Oh, we're from Reynoldsburg," and then the other one goes, "My ex is from Lancaster. Don't really
Tell
like it
me
down
his
there."
last name was Clark. Please tell me, dear God, his last. Tell me his last name was Clark. Please, please, please.
Didn't get that deep, but it's kind of cool
Uh,
there. Apparently, Connor had been there a few months back and said the same two were there, so maybe they just kind of hang out in Nashville. But that was kind of cool to
oh,
see
so the
some
last name
Buckeyes.
was Young, I guess.
I know. They're actually pretty good. I requested a Sheryl Crow song and they killed it, so that was good.
That's pretty awesome. I really love those stories. I'm glad you were posting and sending us text message that whole time too, because that
Yeah,
you can easily, especially how many people get to go hang out with their kids and go
yeah,
have those kind of experiences. That's just awesome.
yeah.
I bet you
Let's
Jilly
hear.
was a little jealous, right?
She went to Hilton Head with her sister, so she had fun at the beach, so that was good. So now we got to hear about yours because in parallel to our little Nashville trip, you made a trip down to Florida to see one of yours and my favorite bands, which I still have not seen live. And so you got to give us the scoop on that one.
So it's hard to replicate moments like that, and it's so great. You and I've been a part of a lot of moments in our lifetime. I always think back that time we were out snowmobiling, and I said, "Everybody, make sure you're gassed up." And I'm the first one that runs out of gas. You
Yeah.
can never replicate. There's certain moments you can't replicate. And went down to Tampa with my buddy. My buddy and I, we were college roommates, great friends, and I knew, heading down to there, it was going to be a tough weekend. I was actually going to spend the after that weekend with my parents. I thought I better go before because if I do it after, I'm just going to be a pile of mud. I better do the. So I got a nice visit with the parents and my brother and his life partner. I don't know what to say anymore. They've been engaged for a couple years. I'm going with life partner. I'd
There
go
you
with
go.
the. But I gotta say, we spent. I spent that weekend, and then my college roommate, we'll just say Guy, Mr. Guy Blissett. He and I have been known to dabble into trouble.
Hmm.
Nothing that's going to throw us completely behind the bars, but enough that I mean we've been thrown out of bars, but not
Yeah.
behind the bars, so to speak. We went down. We were staying in a Westin, a nice Westin. It was kind of cool because we met up there on a Friday and we kind of converged somewhere around noon, 1 o'clock. Still trying to work through the day, get some work stuff done. But we noticed around the hotel, man, there was all kinds of AC/DC shirts with old farts running around. And then the other side of it were weddings. There was a crap ton of people. So we had these
Hmm.
old people and wedding people
Hmm.
all in this same place, just hanging out with some. And so we're chatting them up and some good stories. And so the place was about a 4 mile walk from the hotel. And he and I are always the walkers that we go, all right, we'll just go bar hopping until we, get close by and then we'll catch an Uber. So he and I just started walking and we made a crap ton of friends along the way of stopping through. We just find the next joint and I'd pull up my app and we'd find the next place and just so by the time we go show up to the concert, let's just say we had the big smiles on, the perfect big smiles. And we get in there about 15 minutes after the opening act had started. And both of us had the two biggest bottles of water and stood up for 2.5 hours, rocking it out to ACDC. And I tell you what, if anybody hasn't seen ACDC, they're 70 years old. And Angus Young, my goodness, that guy can just still the guitar. Now, this isn't for everybody. If you don't like some rocker that's going to be hitting the guitar, that's not for you because that's the entire show. And Brian Johnson's vocals still just like Back in Black, just right spot on.
Crazy.
Spot on.
Just
Not
crazy.
he can't do any of the Bon Scott stuff of the old things, you just go along and like hearing the old, but it's still fine, it's not
Yeah.
bad. Certainly the guitar's right there, but everything from Back in Black on forward it was I'm getting chills right now from but what a great show if you can catch that one, especially because I'm not sure how much Angus Young with what he was doing with that guitar. By the way, that guy is I've said it to you, I said it to know he's bat crap crazy. He's got this, you look at him going, holy smokes, he's just got this smile. You go, wow. Wearing his little kid outfit. And he was like talking into the mic a couple times, and both Guy and I are looking at each other going, I really not sure what he said.
Yeah. You can't.
You can't
Yeah. He's not
yeah.
speaking English. I mean, he's speaking English, but it's not English.
I thought Ozzy Osbourne was next to him,
Yeah.
helping him
Yeah.
speaking into his ear or something. But 2.5 hours on your feet, no sitting down. It was straight. There
And
was not a
it's
break in the entire time.
and it's not just standing and playing guitar. I mean, he's hopping around on 1 foot or 2 feet. And just
A
it's
70-year-old man, a pile of sweat, and just rocking the guitar. And
it's
if you look at his
unbelievable.
hands, I was really watching his hands, and his hands were just like baby hands. So he must like keep them in mittens all the time he's not rocking because they looked, you normally could see getting old. They
Yeah.
looked fresh as could be.
Hmm.
I went, that's the reason why he really takes care of those hands. And yes,
Well,
um,
the crazy thing is his brother Malcolm Young was the other guitar player, and he died of dementia.
yeah,
And so you're like, oh, that could have taken any of these guys. They lived hard, hard, hard lives. So that to see Angus out there, I mean, what a treat for you guys. And I know they're playing Nashville. They're supposed to play tonight, but it looks like it got postponed to tomorrow night. I would have loved to have been up in Nashville for
got
that.
two more chances. They're playing in Cleveland, their last show, and I think Cincinnati after Nashville.
Oh, we might have to think hard about that because this could be the last time that they'll be out in a large way. And if they sound that good, it's probably worth the money.
High rating. Without question, high rating. Other thing we're gonna say. So we did Friday night and hit her hard Friday, then Saturday. Hit the beaches. Anybody goes down to Tampa, hit Clearwater Beach. It's gorgeous. That's a perfect place to go hang out. And then I'm going to give a shout out to a restaurant in Ybor City in Tampa. There's a restaurant there that we found. We met the owner, we met the bartender, of course. We hung out with them, had a blast. We're just yucking it up all night long. And it's the best food. And I'm not sure it's panda food. They weren't serving the panda
Mm,
desserts,
mm.
but it was something you wouldn't say. You go chicken liver pate,
Nah, no. Next.
but yeah, they did have a hot dog that had banana ketchup, and you go, I don't. It sounds gross. It was phenomenal. And then they had the best Philly cheesesteak that did not look like a Philly cheesesteak whatsoever. Unbelievably, the beef on there was to die
Mm.
for. And then a beef tartare, which is raw beef.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so good.
Well, what's the name of the place?
Laura, and they are just open. They're about 3 months in business. The chef and the place just, I will go back. Every time I go visit my parents, I'll be going back down there, breaking the diet, and saying I'm coming over here to see the group too. They weren't even on Yelp yet, and I gave them a big Yelp rating down there. But yeah, anyway, big shout out for ACDC. If you can find it in Cleveland, Ohio, you still got a chance. I think it's Cincinnati still left coming up, probably in the next couple of weekends.
I'll have to check that out because yeah, I missed Genesis. I've missed Bob Seger. Bob Seger came through Atlanta and I didn't realize it, and then he retired. So I mean, trying to knock off. ACDC is absolutely on my list. I think maybe I could take a little trip up to Cincinnati, see Casey, go see a show.
All right, around the horn. So I think we just had a little draft that took place, and it wasn't the lottery for the basketball players. We had the NFL draft. We had kind of our little favorite team, that little dude over my shoulder, with Ohio State that had 4 players drafted. So what do you think, Panda?
14 actually.
Did I say 4? Yeah,
Yeah,
14. Yeah.
yeah. They not to be surprised, I guess. We were hoping to get 15, but Seth McLaughlin, who won the Remington as a center, tore his Achilles, and I guess that caused teams not to draft him like they were expecting. So, uh, anyway, so I think that's the second most ever. But I guess the question is, if you look at, I don't know how much you've looked at predictions going into the fall, but most people have Ohio State 1 or 2 or 3. Penn State is 1 in a lot I've seen, but I've seen Ohio State 1 and others. Texas is 1 and 1. So it's just interesting to see, like, how can you lose 14? Like, you're practically your whole defense, and then realistically have a chance to win the following season. But I guess we'll see. But what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, look at who's coming in. The backups and the people that have been around there. Defense is the starting point. The big guy was that's a hard loss. That big guy in the middle was outstanding.
Yeah, yeah, Tylee
Right?
Close.
Yeah, man, that one to me is the hardest one to replace out of all of them. Of course, Captain Jack, very, very hard to
Hmm.
replace as a leader, but I think Sonny Styles coming in,
Yeah.
fantastic. And if certainly Caleb Downs and a couple of
Hmm.
other the cornerbacks coming in that's going to be
Yep.
starting. So I guess the only place I'd have a little concern there is the line.
Yep.
And then the
Yep.
flip side, probably the same thing, just the line, but we get a little experience, I think, coming back with our offensive line.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
the new QB. Can we have our QB?
Yep.
There's the question mark. If we have a QB,
I mean, look at Alabama. They found out that having inconsistent quarterback play can kill you in college football, and they were as talented as anybody, but didn't have the season they wanted because Milrow is up and down, and so
yep,
you just don't know what you're going to get with the rookie QB. And saying supposed to be good, but sometimes that could
it's a
take a
mental
year.
game too, especially
Yeah,
when you get in games like Texas and
yeah,
Michigan. And I mean,
yep,
look at we've got a killer schedule. I mean, it's a big time,
yep,
tough schedule.
yep.
It's hard.
That they have. Is Oregon coming back? Are they playing Oregon this
I
year? Or is
don't
it
think so. I think it's
okay?
Washington. That's the
Okay.
one that's off now, and
Okay.
Washington came. I think we're at Washington, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. Got it. Well, it's yeah, it is a tough schedule. Texas, a new quarterback, first game of the year. Texas, that's going to be a real interesting game.
You're
And
right.
I don't know if you've heard or caught any of it, but Buckeye fans are up in arms because Fox got that game and they put all of their best games at noon. And that game has to be a nighttime game. It has to be, doesn't it?
Here's my comment on that is the reason why we're getting all these good players and the reason why the Big Ten is where it's at is because they're getting paychecks from Fox. And if that's how they make their money and we are the ones that suffer for it as a fan and that's how we're getting to have good teams, I understand. I'd love to have an 8 o'clock Texas Ohio State football game. Without question, we want to have that. But if that's what it is for Fox to make some money to go out a better paycheck, I get it.
Yeah.
But I do think they have to have some parity and not have six of those games of Ohio
Yeah.
State be the noon. We can't be the only team.
Right.
We got to pick another one
Yeah.
and share the wealth around the league.
I'm telling you, I went to the only other time Texas came to Ohio State was in 2005.
You
And
went to that when
I was
Young.
living in Pickerington then, so I got lucky. And
Damn,
so I went to the game with my friend Mark Chuddick, who from we went
Michigan
to
fan.
Michigan fan, but we went to Texas together. So he came up and we went to that game, and that was the loudest. And I was at the Tennessee game this past year. Of course, there were a lot of Tennessee fans there, but that was the loudest game I'd ever heard in Ohio Stadium was that Texas night game. So, you just don't get quite that, because people are sober a little more sober at noon than they are at 8 o'clock at night. So it's
Oh, come
just.
on, let's give our Buckeyes some credit of firing up some fireballs and getting her going.
I'm sure many are, but some aren't. So anyway, but your point is valid, spot on. That's where the money's being made. Fox is going to put their game where they want it, and if you don't like it, then go to ESPN or some other that's not going to pay you as much money, but they'll play your games at night. And so yeah, it's a
Yeah,
trade-off there. Yep,
yeah. I
totally see
know.
that.
I don't like it either, but the rationale behind it is I get it. It
Yeah,
sucks, but I get it.
nope, good point.
Well, all right, I gotta
All
hear
right,
about it.
all
What the
right.
heck is the demon? But what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Oh my God. Oh my God. So this has been going on for a year. So we have this house, and it's a little farmhouse, and it's kind of in the woods. And there's this bird. It's kind of a blue. It's kind of got an orange. I think it's the same bird. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got an orange breast and kind of blue on the back. And this bird started
That's a
out.
blue jay.
Well, it's not a blue jay because blue jay has the long tail. So this definitely is not the
Excuse me, I
long.
said blue jay, blue bird.
It's a bluebird. So
Yeah,
it's
I have
dumb.
bluebirds here, and they're
It's
dumb as a box of
dumb as
rocks.
a box of rocks. So
Yeah,
it has been trying to get into the window in our kitchen, and it comes and it just hits itself on the window and the window. And I have to go out when I hear it. I'm in the office and I'm like, "What's that noise?" I go in and I scare it away, whatever. Well, I don't know if it's the same bird because I didn't really think bluebirds really are like woodpeckers, but this bird is now on the side of the house has put three holes in my siding to do a nest. And so I have been when it puts these perfectly round holes because we have like lap siding, it's like old cedar or pine or something, so fairly soft for the bird to get through, and it puts these perfect holes in, and then I go out and I fill it up with all this concoctions, and I'll put hardened stuff over it, and I'll cover it up,
oh, you're
and I'll
killing
paint
the
it.
poor bird family.
Oh no, that it's not. But that hole is going in, and I'm before they even have a chance to put a nest in there, I'm covering it up. So on the side of my house, right by my office, right outside of my office, right here where I am right now, there's been three holes, and that went over like a 6 month window. Now he's gone around to the front of the house, and he's put three more holes, and I keep covering them up. And the last time I actually had to find like something that would stop him from getting through. So I went and found like a metal drain cover that you put in the shower, and I glued that in there and covered up with epoxy, and then I paint over it, and the sucker just goes like 6 inches to the left and puts another freaking hole in there. So I've got 3 holes in the side of my house that I've covered and painted over. I've got three more, and every time we go out of town for a week, the sucker, by the time I get back, there's another hole. So I got a ladder up there, and this bird, every time I put the ladder up, he doesn't come back. He waits for me to take it down. I paint over it, and then he goes. So I guarantee you, tomorrow I'm gonna go paint because everything's hardened. I'm gonna paint over it, and then I'm gonna take the ladder down. I'm gonna stick it up, and then 2 days later, I'm gonna have a freaking another hole in
All right,
there.
I got a
And
suggestion for you.
what's that?
Go buy a bluebird house.
Bluebird house.
Go, yeah, we've got one right outside our window.
Really?
The damn birds always come back every spring about March. They come back to the bluebird house. Then they leave at about somewhere about now. They're about June 1st they'll leave. And then another one comes back somewhere in September. They do another nesting
Really?
and they're back for about 2 months and then they're gone for the winter. But they won't go plowing into your house.
That sounds like a very fine idea.
They'll go to the bluebird house, but it's got to be a bluebird house, which it has to be a certain size hole. If it's too big
Okay.
of a hole, they won't go for it.
Yeah.
That's their protection thing, so other
Yeah.
birds can't get into it.
Got it.
And that's why they're doing that little hole like that. So
It's
other
the
birds.
same size hole every time.
And what they are very, very territorial. They always come back to the same place. So I know when I start hearing that ting ting, I'm like, that dumbass bird hasn't died yet. He came back. I think he's finally gone because it's been about 18 months of that smacking against the window with bird crap all over the windowsill. And I actually believe he cracked the front window, flying into it. I've got a crack. I'm finally replacing it right now. But yeah, I have the blue one, a bluebird, and a robin that does, and they both come. Finally, the robin's dead, but I can't. The bluebird I can't shoot with a BB gun. The robin I was out there hunting with the BB gun, but I never could find him.
Oh man,
But I
this
couldn't shoot
bird.
the bluebird. But I understand, man. If he's burrowing into my house, that definitely would be out there with a shotgun taking
Oh,
care of that deal.
thank God our siding is kind of that rough hewn siding, and it's not flat, so it all kind of blends in together at least.
By my house, it's the shotgun house with a bunch of holes.
Yeah, exactly. I hope nobody notices it. Why do you have holes all throughout your house? Oh man. Anyway, that's my demon bird. And Jill just laughs at me because I get so mad at this thing. Oh God.
The panda rant of the week is about the bird. So I'll give you my rant of the week. Here we go. Mine's not a bluebird. My rant, well, I still those scum sucking leeches that are terrorizing our older generation. I've got 3 more reported cases, but I'm not going to go into that. I might say those people have a special place in hell. My rant now is this. It drives me insane. I don't know anybody else, but I cannot stand when you're driving down the highway, the 3 to 4 lane highway, and the person that stays in the left-hand lane and the speed limit 70 and they think at 72 is okay to be in the left-hand lane. And there is a line of 20 cars trying to get past this person and they choose never to leave that lane. And that person is very close to those scum-sucking leeches, but certainly not that bad. And certainly not as bad as the bluebird putting holes in your house. But
I
golly,
can
that drives
relate.
me insane. I
Yeah.
just, and finally, I've always had this idea of when to put the little LED screen in the back of my car and say, "Move over, dumbass." But also, I'm always that thing. I've been going, when do they make something like that for the car? And finally, today, I was at Home Depot and I look up and there's a minivan. And the minivan was like they're advertising their painting thing. And it was an LED sign. I went, whoa. And I really wanted to chase them down and say, hey, where'd you get that damn? I'm sure I'd find it on eBay or
Right.
Amazon somewhere to find the Amazon. But I always then go, I'd probably get shot.
Exactly. Road rage comes into play.
Yeah.
Little grain
But
that
my,
says,
if you're in the left-hand lane, go. If not, get out of the left-hand lane.
oh yeah. Yeah. I'm very sensitive to that because I go like 77, 78, which is, fast, but not as fast as the fast people go. So I'm in the left-hand lane. I'll get over, So I'm
You'll
very
get
kind of
over.
sensitive.
And,
Yeah.
and there's another, I mean, there's also those super speeders. They're doing 80 or 90.
Oh
They don't
God.
count. Going
No.
90 miles an hour.
No. Okay.
You get you what you're dealt when you're trying to go that fast. I'm talking about if you're going that 72, 75, and you're not getting over.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that drive
Yeah.
me absolutely insane.
I'm with you,
All
man.
right, the end of the rant of the week. We're going into segment number one. We like this feature. I think it is the underrated 80s. And I think the last time we had some interesting underrated features. This could be an
Yeah.
actor, something of the 80s, a musician, an athlete, a band, a song, an album, something you think is underrated. So, Panda, either or you want to go first, I can go first. You tell
Happy to
me.
go. Happy to go. I'll go first. So, our next segment, we're going to get into movies. So, that kind of had me thinking about movies here as we were preparing for this. And so I gravitated towards an underrated movie for the 80s. So, I've referenced this movie in the past. I loved it. It didn't really do well at the box office, didn't make any money. It's never shown on TV. You never see it. I don't know why. It's, Shawshank Redemption is on every 5 minutes somewhere on TV. That's a great movie. But this movie is hysterical and you never see it. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. But it really was one of the great comedies of the early part of the 80s. So my underrated 80s nomination for the week is the movie Johnny Dangerously, starring Michael Keaton, and it had a whole bunch of other famous actors from 1984. There's it had Joe Piscopo in it, and again,
Wow.
yeah, he played the Danny Verman. I think he was like the evil mobster, and Johnny Dangerously was like the good-hearted mobster. And there are so many just hysterical. I encourage anybody who hasn't seen it, go YouTube the courtroom scene from Johnny Dangerously. There's like literally just crazy line after you, and some of them you may have heard over the years. Yeah, you lousy cork soakers. Now
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
they actually Saturday Night Live took that line and did a whole skit on cork soakers. I don't know if you ever saw that on
I've
Saturday
seen
Night
that one.
Live. That
Yeah,
is one
God.
of the great.
Laugh out loud
Oh
is,
my
oh my God, one of the
God.
best ever.
Absolutely. And
You
I
lazy
think they,
corksuckers, yes.
yes, the cork soakers.
Oh, yes.
This is Fargan Boar, you mother Fargan ice holes. These are all like quotes from that movie. But just a great movie. And I don't know where you can even watch it, but it's something I don't understand why.
I can't say that I know I've seen the title. I can't remember the movie at all. I don't. So now
What?
you've got. Now I'm going to go
Yeah.
find it.
It didn't do well in the theaters. It came on HBO, after, so I used to watch it back in the day a little bit on HBO, but it is gone. So if you got a chance, you will, if you have crack open a couple beers and watch that, you will be laughing hysterically. It really is funny. So
Kind
that's
of
mine.
funny. We're our same thing. My underrated thing is of the '80s. That's a good one. Very very close to what you are, but not specific. But we've talked about it in the past. But for me, the underrated thing of the '80s was the 30-minute sitcom, the comedies of the '80s.
Yeah.
And I've heard it talked about in the 2000s now, and nobody can explain to why that thing's disappeared. The few that seem to be on the channel, I love The Neighborhood. That's one of my favorite. Matter of fact, that guy that's the lead, one of the lead actors, I swear to God, I met him at Lowe's working. One of the funniest men I've ever met inside of a Lowe's, and we were just shooting the crap talking about. But think about in the '80s, we had Cheers, The Cosby Show, Family Ties, Night Court, Growing Pains, Who's the Boss, Perfect Strangers. Alf, Full
Yeah.
House. What was the one with Tom Hanks?
Bosom buddies.
Bosom Buddies. There you go. Nice. Golly, it's just you could name 100 of them, and they're
Do,
disappeared.
do you ever listen to the podcast, David Spade and Dana Carvey
Yeah, I love
have?
that one. Yeah.
They talk about it, like, why does nobody they don't do comedy movies anymore? I mean, very rarely, right? And they don't do the sitcoms anymore, and no one seems to know
I
Why?
think it is that nobody can take a joke about certain, that you can't make fun of anything anymore. You can't make a people, you can't make a fun of a person, you can't make a fun. So
It could be.
it is just people get their feelings offended, and so everybody, think about, I mean, you watch some of those old comedy, and I'm not saying watch an Archie Bunker, but you watch some
Oh
of the other
God.
ones and go, well, I'm not sure I think that would be politically correct today. Friends. Let's just watch a few episodes of Friends you could find in there, and somebody get offended by what somebody says in there. And I think that has to do with a lot of it. Um,
Well, you brought up All in the Family with Archie Bunker. The beauty of that, at least, it was. I mean, you can't say the things that Archie Bunker was said back then. You can't say that shit today.
Ever. No
But
way. But
but
at least he
but
had the
he,
Jeffersons on there.
but he had Meathead. He had Mike Stivic
Yeah,
on there,
yeah.
and he was the liberal, and Archie was the conservative. So at least you were getting like both sides of it, right? So at
Well,
least you're like,
I'm not letting our Archie represent the conservative.
well,
You
he was
can
pretty
put him in the
conservative.
KKK crowd, but I'm
He
not
was
quite
pretty
sure.
conservative dude, but yeah, we will say that was from the 70s, a totally different era. But at
Yeah.
least for that era, you were kind of getting a balanced view of the state of the world at that time, and so at least that one can kind of make it through. But yeah, to your point, there, I think we've been so fractured, so maybe that does make it challenging
And
to poke fun at people.
I just miss even I know that Bill Cosby was a human being, but golly, I love that show.
Oh, that was such a
I
good
just,
show.
man,
That
it was
was,
such a good show. Every family value you could have, and
yeah, yeah,
I miss that kind of show.
yeah,
I watch that one all the time. Thursday
yeah.
nights.
Yep, yep.
Cosby. Then the next thing after Cosby, but then Seinfeld took over, and you just, man, miss that so much.
Yeah, and Friends took that mantle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then it just kind of fell off. So yeah, that's a good call out. Hadn't really thought about that in a while, but that's yeah. I don't know, streaming. We've moved from broadcast where everybody got their consumed their content on broadcast TV, which was more suited to sitcoms. Now it's streaming where you get 8 episodes of a series of a show. Back then they were doing 22 episodes of a sitcom, so maybe the format has changed and it's not as aligned to a sitcom. I'm not really sure.
I'd almost argue they're changing from the sitcom to the podcast. You don't have to
Yeah,
have the cost of the production.
true.
And you can find so many, like you're talking about, David Spade and that's not Martin
Dana
Short,
Carvey.
Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
That thing's laugh at Dana Carvey's just laugh
Oh,
out loud
he is
funny.
hysterical. He does his
That guy,
impressions. Oh my God. So
I
funny.
rank him up there in one of the top five of the
Mm.
best of the
Hmm.
funniest people you ever, Will Ferrell right there with them.
Yep, yep.
Those guys, think about that Saturday Night Live cast back in the day with,
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. In the
I just
90s.
Talladega Nights is on the other day. And he's sitting at the dinner table.
Oh my God.
Hey, old man.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Baby Jesus.
baby. Thank you, baby Jesus. Forgive me, Father, I've sinned. Sorry, Pope Leo.
Yes.
Oh, going into segment 2. I think this is a great segment. So we get to argue or put our points. We have no idea what each one picked. And so this one we're picking on, we're trying to go pick who has the best movie. And so the 80s, we love the John Hughes movies. And John Hughes, if you go Google or look it up, man, he had a host of a bunch of great comedies that, took some of the best actors. God, rest his soul, John Candy and some of those other actors of that time. Just some of the funniest ever all time. I don't know what his magic formula was, but he could sure put together a good comedy. So, do you want me to start this
Yeah.
off? And
Go take
okay,
it away.
so I'm going to go my John Hughes movie, and I just this is the one that because of I was a consultant and had to do a lot of traveling. And so watching this one, man, and it has two of my favorite comedians of all time, Steve Martin and John Candy. And planes, trains, and automobiles, I feel like I've lived that life of just missing something and you got to figure out an alternate course. And, I never, the lines coming out of that movie, uh, when John Candy goes to Steve Martin, you play with your balls a lot. He's like, I don't play with my balls. Larry Bird doesn't do as much ball handling as you do in one night. Uh,
Pillows? Those aren't pillows. Remember that scene when they're in the
oh
bed
yeah, those are
together?
pillows. Where they're driving down the highway. John Candy's driving, and they get a car. You're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
He said we're going the wrong way. How does he know where we're going?
Oh
And
yeah, thank you.
my ultimate, he goes like the Seinfeld episode where he's going to go reserve the car, and he goes, "I have a reservation. You just don't have a car." And so he goes up to the counter with the red-headed lady. He says, "I want a car right freaking now. May I see your rental agreement?" I threw it away. Oh boy, you're screwed.
Yeah. I think she may have even been a little more forceful than that. All right, so that the redheaded lady from the rental car, she
Yeah.
was great in that scene, but she was the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and that
Oh yeah, yeah.
lady, she just cracks me up. You just look at her, the little smiles oh my God, she was a
She
great
had her
actress.
role. Her role.
She did.
She probably had 10 of those. 10
Yes.
different ones that kind of that same. That's that voice. Her voice was the
Yes.
one. It just rang true.
She could
Yes.
deliver a line when
Yes.
when she knew there was
The
a line,
best.
she delivered it perfectly. Oh my God. Yes. What a great movie, man. I looking back, I should have guessed that you would have picked that. That is so you. And I love it for all the reasons that you did. First off, John Candy is brilliant. And then Steve Martin playing off of Candy's kind of goofy, goofiness and was just, and he was just getting the crap. Everything was happening to Steve Martin, and John Candy was kind of coming to the rescue, but he was also making his life miserable. It was just comedic geniuses right there. Oh, what a
Me to
great
you.
movie!
That's what it is. Me to you.
Oh man. So yeah, this was tough. I was doing the research, and I'm like, look at let's just before I give you mine, let's go through the run that he went through. 83, Mr. Mom, National Lampoon Vacation, 84, 16 Candles, 85, Breakfast Club, 80, Weird Science in 85, 86, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Pretty in Pink, 87, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 89, Christmas Vacation and Uncle Buck, and then 1990, Home Alone. Has any creative director, writer ever had a stretch like that?
How did I miss Vacation? I didn't even when I looked it up. It didn't even have Vacation in my list. And
Just
which one I would have picked, except for I love planes, trains, and automobiles. But every Christmas I
yeah,
watch Christmas Vacation twice.
yeah,
Hell,
yeah,
my house is decorated like Christmas
yeah,
Vacation.
yeah. So my five favorite John Hughes movies, from five to one, are 16 Candles. Love that. Just a coming of age. That was and
What's his nickname? Birdie. But what's the guy's name? The
Long Duck Dong.
Long Duck. Yes, Long Duck Dong. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. You
No
knew what I
more
was talking.
Yankee. No more Yankee, my wanky. What a great line. Oh, my fourth is Christmas Vacation. Love that. I watch it once a year, every year around Christmas.
Doesn't matter.
Uh,
Have to watch it.
Gotta watch it. Yeah, Cousin Eddie. Merry Christmas. Shitter's full. He's dumping into the sewer, dumping from his camper into the sewer. Oh God. Number three, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Hard,
Oh,
hard to believe that's not the best on anybody's list because that's just genius, genius.
Classic.
But I,
Everything classic. Sticking the dead lady up on top of the roof.
oh man, what a just so many lines. Those young actors turned out to all be just fantastic. And then our red haired lady and the principal. I don't know who that actor's name is, but he played the principal just perfect. The bad guy. Charlie Sheen had a memorable little cameo in
Oh
there in the
yeah.
police
In the
police
prison.
station.
The police
Yeah,
station.
police
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Number two for me was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That says a lot that it's above Ferris Bueller's. So you and I love that movie a lot. But my number one has to be The Breakfast Club. I
Yeah.
just I was there six actors, three men, three women, and I think was that right? Ali Sheedy.
I was betting that was my bet. That's the one you were gonna pick.
It's
I was
just
gambling on I know which one he's
it
getting.
just
That
resonated with me.
yeah.
You got the guy at detention. I could relate to from high school. I was only a couple years out of high school at that point, and I still kind of related to the jock and the punk and the nerd and the prima donna girl and all of that. So it was it just connected with me, and it's just always, if it's on, I watch it. I have to watch it. So that was my number one. Again, just think, I gave you my top five. Didn't have Home Alone on there, which my kids would say is the best movie
Bingo. I know. I thought
ever.
about I love that
Yeah,
movie too. But
Mr.
I will not go hit the replay on that. I mean I'll watch it occasionally at
Yeah,
Christmas,
yeah,
but all those top five you named, I will sit down and if I
yeah,
catch it on there, I'll at least catch 30-minute
yeah.
clip.
You have the original Vacation, which is great. Uncle Buck, Mr. Mom, Weird Science was another good
Oh,
movie.
great movie. Love Weird Science. Yeah. Uncle Buck, man, that's just one of the best. Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd's in Uncle Buck, right?
yeah, John, yeah.
John Candy,
John
yes.
Candy and yeah, that whole crew. Yeah, that was a great one. So yeah, that's a great topic. I'm glad that was your idea. So well done, Mr. Wheels. That was fun.
Okay, coming up, this is a hard one. And Panda came up with this one. What sport record will never be broken? Doesn't matter what sport it is. What sport record could never be broken? And I was going to go down to chess and the guy from Russia about how many streaks, but I figured that would not be good for the podcast entertainment.
No, what? What?
Who the hell?
What?
What?
What the
What?
hell? Explain that to me.
All right, so I'll go ahead and go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think yours is going to be better. I probably know what direction you're going to be in. I went through college football. There's a couple in baseball I kind of liked, but college football is what drew me into what record would because you can't imagine what records are not going to be broken. So I'm going to go with. There's a couple of them that one will definitely never be broken, and that is the seven full overtime games.
Oh,
There were a couple of them. LSU and Texas A&M played one,
yeah.
and Arkansas and somebody I can't remember who else. LSU and Texas A&M is like 76, 74,
Yeah.
seven overtimes. I mean, God bless. I saw one of those with Baylor and I can't Baylor and one of the Texas schools that went six overtimes.
Was it Baylor TCU?
Yeah, Baylor TCU,
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
all-time football games.
Yeah.
I saw it. We were out in Monterey, California, on one of our trips, and Barb was sick, and I was out there screaming my head off and watching Archie. What was the quarterback's name? Griffin, the third.
RG3?
RG3. He
Oh,
was the quarterback
wow.
for
Uh-huh.
Baylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, golly, that was just they're not teams but just such a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
That one, so they have seven overtimes because they've changed it with the 2 point
Yeah.
conversion after. I get it. I understand. I kind of agree with the way they've got the format now, but that's as a fan, having that starting, I think it started at the 25-yard line or something in the overtimes. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there's one other one that I'm pretty sure this one would be, and that's one football team and the amount of yards. 1989. And I just stumbled across this one. And it was the Houston Cougars put on TCU 1,021 yards of offense in a single game. A
Oh,
1,021 yards of offense in one game. You imagine how much throw? I mean, it just had to be throw the ball up, touchdown, throw
yeah,
the ball up,
right.
touchdown. Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that. Holy cow. You think of 700 yards of offense is like crazy, like school
Crazy.
record day, and somebody threw up over 1,000.
Right. 1,000 rushing and passing.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So I'm going to venture yours is going to be in baseball.
Yeah, I went baseball. So there's you look at Wilt Chamberlain's year where he averaged 50 a game and had averaged 24 rebounds, blah blah blah. I don't know how many he averaged like a quadruple double, I think. So you go, okay, that's not likely to ever be beaten. But is there a chance it could be beaten? Well, sure, there could. There could be a phenom who comes out and is 7'10", but jumps through the gym and can dribble and shoot threes. And, it's possible, not likely, probably will never happen, but it's possible. So I was looking through baseball records and I realized, oh, I know this record will never, ever, ever, ever be beaten. And it's Cy Young had 749 complete games in his career.
Oh,
749 complete games.
749. That'll never, ever, ever,
That'll
ever,
never
never,
be.
ever, ever,
So
ever, ever.
So for reference, that would be 37 and a half complete games a year for 20 years to basically beat him by one. So 37 and a half, which by the way, they don't even get that many starts in a year. Typically, the most starts in a year is going to be somewhere in the mid 30s. So you'd have to pitch more than starters pitch these days, and everyone would have to be a complete game, and you'd have to do it for 20 years. And then so I looked at last year's Major League Baseball. Three pitchers in Major League Baseball led the big leagues in complete games with two each.
I was just gonna say. I
Two.
was gonna say I can't even imagine into the playoffs, right? I can't even imagine a pitcher going into a complete game. And the only reason they probably were was because they were hitting a no hitter somewhere along the line, and they were stuck in the ninth inning trying to get their no hit pitching
So
performance. Yeah, that
yeah,
one never. That's
that'll
definitely
never,
never,
ever,
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 ever.
ever, ever
And
be
then
broken.
he has another one that I'm thinking is maybe a never, never, but he had 511 career wins. So you'd have to pitch for 25 years and average over 20 wins a season for 25 years to, match that. So that is not going to happen either, but there's
Potential. There's a
potential, same as, yeah.
if the Sheen wasn't on the Pirates, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. They have the best pitcher in baseball. He's going to go like 8-18 this year.
If he was drafted by the
Uh,
Yankees and maybe he had a shot.
right, right. So yeah, that is my nomination for a record that will never be broken, and I feel pretty good about that. Yes.
All right, last segment, life's simple pleasures. I think the last one we had a kind of a good sentimental one, made us had a little tear in our eyes, and we had a really good one. And but I love this segment talking about things that what is the life's simple pleasures. So Panda, go ahead. You can start this one off.
Yeah. So I don't know. Most people don't know, but I in the kind of process of retiring, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I've had a lot of time off, mostly working on the house and getting ready to be sold. We're going to be moving here
And
shortly. So,
filling in bluebird holes.
and filling in bluebird holes on the house, all that.
He calls
Yes.
them bluebird holes. I call them glory holes, but I don't know what they're called.
Where was I? Okay, yeah. So I've had a little bit of time, but I'm also realizing I'm getting up there in age, and I I'm doing like digging in the yard. I'm looking for an electrical wire that got cut, and I've been digging in the yard, and I'm finding that I can't do what I used to do. I get really tired, a lot easier, and particularly when it's hot out. And I have rediscovered, because when you're working, you don't have time to take a nap or anything, but an afternoon nap is like amazing. And I'm kind of getting back into it, not every day, but if I work hard like the previous day, I probably need a nap the following day. So I'm being very good about taking naps. And it's like 45 minutes on the couch, door open, listening to the birds chirp, but just an afternoon nap, I'm just finding is a simple pleasure.
Bluebirds making their glory hole. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Freaking birds. And the deer out there eating. So right where the bird is chomping on the wall, the deer are eating the bushes, and Jill had to scare them away today. So God love those deer. They're so cute, but man, they're destructive. I hate them. Anyway, but not to yeah, naps. That's mine for this
That's a good
show. So
one.
what about you?
The older I get, the more sentimental. Very, same things. I've in kind of a similar thing. I think the life simple pleasure for me was, and both of us had the opportunity this last weekend of creating memories. I think a simple pleasure for me is how to go. We figure out. You had Nashvegas and creating a memory being with the boys at a 21st birthday. I was lucky to create some memories down in Florida, seeing an AC/DC concert with an old friend that just an absolute blast that you can never recreate again. I mean, how much fun! And both of us walked away and went, God bless that. You will never be able to recreate that again. So, just making a memory, and I love scheduling time with a bunch of different folks, over a course of a lifetime to figure out how go make a new memory. It doesn't have to be the same, but go make a new memory that's just something of fun. Especially we get to talk about in these podcasts of some just things that happen in life. And so I guess the life simple pleasure for me is going to figure out how you can schedule memories that happen that just put a smile on your face because we're not all smiles, especially this time of life. It's tough of some of the bad news that comes our way. Forget about just nationally, globally, but in your personal lives and how we can go figure out how you can schedule some time to put some smile on your face or better yet, somebody else's face. I think it's my life simple pleasure.
I love that. I think, as we're all kind of entering the same phase, material possessions, all those things that we thought were important, the big house and all that is not even on the top of my list of things that I care about. It's the experiences, hanging out with my boys for a long weekend. We'll always remember that weekend and things we do with you and Barb and our friends, the Hiles and others. That's what really matters anymore, and that's where my focus is going to be. So my question to you is, where are we going next, Steve? Where are we
That's
going?
absolutely. I've been thinking about that. I've like we kicked around an idea and I went and we poo pooed. I poo pooed it. I came up with one and went, we got to come up with another one.
That's a good thought. That's
So
a good
it was
thought.
a good thought, but when we did a little bit of a homework, we went, what? We want to make sure it's a good memory and go.
Mhm.
We don't want it to go.
Exactly.
Life. You want life to go. You go. That was pretty good. You don't want to go.
Exactly.
All right, this is
All right.
Andy's shining moment because
There we go.
he's going to come after me, the complete movie moron. The absolute, you could tell me the line, and the next day I wouldn't even know what the heck you're talking about. I could watch it for 4 straight days and never know it. But it is Stump Wheels time. So, Panda, take it away.
All right, here we go. I tried to make this again. I say that every time, but you are a moron, so it is hard to know.
But I have groupies
You have a groupie. Yes.
or a groupie.
I'm jealous. Jealous. You got your own T-shirt or
And
something.
by the way, please send more pictures.
That's awesome. All right, here's the quote, man. Here we go. Uh, she gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good. The character's name is Brian Fantana, and it's from a more recent movie in the past 20 years, so it didn't go back to the 80s. It's a comedy. One of the comedians you mentioned earlier, one of the great comedians, this is his franchise movie where he's done two of them.
So it's got to be John Candy or Steve Martin.
No, no, you mentioned
Oh.
before you talked about them, you mentioned a couple of comedians that were the top of their game.
So now we're going to Will Ferrell. It cannot be from Talladega Nights.
Nope,
It's no.
you're close. You're getting there.
All right, go ahead. Nope.
It's from Anchorman.
Oh, with the well, what's her name?
Uh,
Uh,
ooh,
from me,
from Married
Allison.
with Children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy.
What's her name? I just listened to her on a podcast. She is an amazing person, by the way. She's got MS and
Yeah,
she's
she
doing
talked about
great.
it. Pins and Needles. Were you listening to the? Yeah, I listened to that same podcast.
Yeah, that was a really good podcast. What is her name? From
Um, I
oh, that's terrible.
I just keep thinking
Terrible.
Kathy. That's not it. It's
No,
a
no.
a a a a a. Yeah, we'll come up with it. Oh, it's terrible. I know who she is.
Um,
She was actually in that podcast. They were talking about how she was had to
Christina
finish
Applegate.
Christina Applegate. I knew a
Yeah,
Applegate. Yeah, man, that's a sad. She
yeah.
seems to have that positive attitude, but
She
God,
does. She
bless.
does. Yeah. She was a sex symbol as a probably like a 15-year-old on Married with Children.
Mary, yeah,
And then she was the same kind of thing as an adult on Anchorman, the two Anchorman movies. And then she's been through hell and back, but she's takes the, she's a fighter, man, just a real fighter. But that movie is great. That scene that I just they're in Burgundy's office and Christine Applegate's character has just come into the newsroom and they're all like wanting to hit on her, and so he goes to the wall of Burgundy's office and opens up all of these colognes, and he goes into this special box and up pops this panther head and he pulls it out and he puts it on, and then you come to realize that Burgundy goes, that smells like pure gasoline. And then he goes in and tries to hit on her, and the whole office clears because it smells so bad. So that's kind of a funny scene there.
don't remember that at all. I mean, you say that, and I remember there's some with Steve Carell and
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
uh, I don't remember the
Who's
cowboy guy.
who's yeah, I was gonna say, who's that actor?
He's
He's
great too.
hysterical.
He's on The Office as well. He's one
Yeah,
of the characters. Yeah,
yes, he's been on The Office. Yeah, he's the sports anchor guy on Burgundy on the Anchorman. He's hysterical as well. Yeah, just a great movie. So yeah, and on the theme of movies, we wanted to tee up for our audience to have a little audience participation. So on the next episode, Steve and I are going to try this. Yeah, we're really trying to focus on 80s
who is
uh,
Steve? Who is this Steve you mentioned?
the wheels. And I have been
My
talking
my groupie says Red Wheels, but I'm not
Red
sure what you.
Wheels. Red Wheels and Panda have been talking about what we might want to do with movies. And one of the things we're going to try is we're going to let you know of a movie that we're going to go back and rewatch that we probably watched when it came out in the 80s and haven't seen it in 20 or 30 years. And we're going to go rewatch it before the next episode. And then we're going to kind of review it again and talk about, just what we forgot about, what we liked about it. And the first movie we're going to do, kind of in honor of Wheels, who was our high school wrestler, we're going to watch the movie Visionquest. And
Mr. Paul Petrella, you're not allowed watching the Red Wheels Panda podcast, please.
that was a great movie with an incredible soundtrack. So that's why I liked it, because of the soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks from the 80s, but a great movie. Kind of this guy was a wrestler in high school, tries to take on the best player in the state, but has kind of a romance along the way. So if you haven't seen it, which I'd be surprised if you're our age and didn't see that movie, go out and watch it. I checked, it's free on Tubi, so you can stream it for free. It's out there, and then next time we'll talk about it and just give our thoughts on it. So that's going to be something we're going to try for the next one.
Fantastic, Panda. Great job. Love the Nashvegas stories. That couldn't be any better.
Yeah.
And thank you to all of our listeners. And please put out more comments. And groupie, please, send me your more pictures.
More pictures. I want to see those pictures too. Come on. I need a groupie too. Groupie, find me a groupie.
All
All
right,
right.
man.
Thanks,
See
Wheels.
y'all.
Yep. See ya.